Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We explore the hidden treasures in your pocket change and reveal the astonishing stories behind everyday coins that could be worth a small fortune. And today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2009 AD Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but due to a combination of unique errors, historical context, minting anomalies, and the collector demand, it has been known to fetch prices as high as $511, and in some instances, even more depending on its condition, variety, and grade. So if you have a 2009 AD penny lying around, or you're just curious how something so common could turn into a collectible gem, buckle in, because we are going to take you through every nuance, every minting mistake, every design element, and every possible variation that makes this coin far more than just a piece of copper-plated zinc. Starting with a little historical background to set the stage, as 2009 marked a significant milestone in American history, the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent itself, which had been introduced in 1909, and to commemorate this double milestone, the United States Mint released a special series of 4 different reverse designs on the Lincoln cent, each depicting a different stage of Lincoln's life, known collectively as the Lincoln Bicentennial 1-cent program. And these designs included birth and early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and finally presidency in Washington, D.C., with the 2009 AD specifically referring to the Denver minted coins from that year, and among these, the formative years reverse design, depicting a young Lincoln sitting on a log reading a book and taking a break from rail splitting, was minted in Denver as well as Philadelphia. But it is the Denver minted versions that are particularly sought after when they feature specific and rare mint errors, and now, let's delve into those valuable errors that can transform a single penny into a collector's item worth hundreds of dollars, beginning with double die obverse and double die reverse errors, which are some of the most coveted types of errors among collectors, and in the case of the 2009 AD Lincoln cent, there have been multiple reports of doubling in Lincoln's hands, fingers, book, and even in the logs in the background. And these doubling effects occur when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the hubbing process, causing elements of the design to appear duplicated or blurred, and while some forms of doubling are considered minor or mechanical and don't command much value, true double dies, especially those with prominent doubling visible to the naked eye, are extremely desirable and can drive prices well into the hundreds depending on their clarity and scarcity. And aside from double dies, another major error category to watch out for is die breaks, including what collectors often refer to as cuds, which are raised, blob-like areas on the coin's surface caused when part of the die breaks off and allows metal to fill in the void during striking, creating unique and unmistakable shapes that no two coins will share exactly. And such die breaks, especially when large and dramatic, can substantially increase a coin's value. And then there are the so-called die clashes, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of the design from one die onto the other, and then onto subsequent coins struck with those dies, producing ghostly or mirror image features from one side of the coin visible faintly on the other. And while such errors may seem subtle to the untrained eye, experienced numismatists pay close attention to them and are willing to pay premiums when the clash is strong and includes recognizable transferred features. And then we have off-center strikes, another favorite among error collectors, where the coin is not properly aligned within the striking chamber, causing a portion of the design to be missing and leaving a blank crescent-shaped area on the coin, with the value generally increasing with the degree of off-centeredness, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. And in the case of the 2009 AD penny, examples with as much as 50% off-center strikes and visible dates have sold for hundreds of dollars. But that's not all, because some 2009 AD Lincoln cents also suffer from misaligned dies or improperly annealed planchets, which can result in a coin that appears uneven in texture or coloration, sometimes exhibiting strange copper hues or blotchy surfaces. And although these may appear as simple environmental damage to an untrained observer, in certified and authenticated cases, they represent significant errors from the minting process and can be valued accordingly. And speaking of planchets, one of the most thrilling types of errors is a wrong planchet error, which occurs when a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, such as a dime or even a foreign coin. and while extremely rare, a few instances have been documented where a 2009 AD penny was struck on a planchet that was underweight or composed of incorrect metal alloys, producing coins that are off in size, weight, and sometimes color. And these rare examples are among the most valuable, often selling for several hundred or even thousands of dollars when certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC. And of course, no discussion of the 2009 RD penny would be complete without talking about condition and grading, because the state of preservation of a coin is absolutely critical in determining its value, with mint state grades ranging from MS60 to MS70, and coins that achieve higher grades, especially those with a known error or variety, can command exceptional premiums. And it's worth noting that because the 2009 AD pennies were released during a time when the US Mint was under pressure to meet high demand, some planchets were poorly prepared and dies were overused, leading to a greater likelihood of errors, which in turn contributes to the variety and availability of collectible mistakes from that year. And collectors pay close attention to coins that are both error-laden and in high grade, with full original luster and minimal contact marks, and slabbed coins, those encased in tamper-evident holders by professional grading services, are particularly desirable because their authenticity and grade are assured, and there are also those who seek out so-called discovery coins, which are the first known examples of a new variety or error, and in the 2009 AD series, new double-die varieties and other mint errors are still being discovered today, thanks to the sharp eyes of dedicated numismatists and hobbyists alike, and such discovery pieces can become instant collector favorites and receive registry recognition from organizations like Kaneka, Wexler's Die Varieties, and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation's Variety Plus program. And let's not overlook the collector psychology and demand that drive up the value of these coins, because the 2009 commemorative nature of the Lincoln Cent redesign brought heightened attention to the series, and many collectors sought to assemble full sets of each design from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, increasing demand for well-struck and error versions of each subtype, especially the formative years and professional life designs from the Denver Mint, and this demand has stayed relatively strong over the years due to the unique nature of the series and the ongoing popularity of Lincoln as a figure, meaning that even years later, people are actively searching through rolls, boxes, and personal coin jars in the hope of finding one of these valuable errors. And stories continue to emerge in online forums, auctions, and YouTube videos of people who found a 2009 AD penny with a clear doubled hand, or a massive die crack, or an unusually struck coin that ended up being worth hundreds once authenticated, and beyond errors, even regular strike coins from this year can become valuable if they are in pristine, uncirculated condition, particularly those that grade MS67 or higher, which are relatively few in number due to the overall quality control issues of the time, and because 2009 was also the year that saw a dramatic increase in coin hoarding and metal valuation concerns. Many coins were pulled from circulation early, leading to an artificial scarcity in top grades for later collectors, and there's also a surprising number of hoards that were stashed away in rolls and boxes from banks or mint sets, which are only now being opened and examined in detail, often revealing hidden gems that were overlooked at the time. And for those interested in diving even deeper, the error collecting community has catalogued hundreds of varieties of the 2009 AD penny alone, with multiple reference guides, YouTube tutorials, coin shows, and numismatic expos dedicated to identifying, grading, and trading these coins. And while $511 may seem like a shocking price to pay for a penny, when you factor in the extreme rarity of some error types, the high-grade condition required, and the fierce competition among collectors to complete their error sets, the price begins to make sense, especially for coins with strong eye appeal and prominent doubling or misstrikes. And if you're thinking of selling or collecting, make sure to study comparison examples from certified auction houses. Use a loupe or microscope to examine details like Lincoln's fingers, the book's edges, the rails and logs, and any anomalies that might suggest an error or variety, and then verify weight and dimensions with a digital scale and calipers to catch possible planchet issues. And once you believe you have something unique, consider submitting it to a reputable grading service for authentication. Next 2015 1-cent USA coin, we uncover hidden treasures in your pocket change, unraveling the incredible stories behind coins that may seem ordinary at first glance but could actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if you know what to look for. And today we have something fascinating that might be lying unnoticed in your very own coin jar or wallet, the 2015 1-cent coin, commonly referred to as the 2015 penny, which under the right circumstances and due to specific minting errors and mistakes, can be worth a surprising and astonishing amount of up to $431 or more, and we're going to dive deep into the reasons why this seemingly modern and common coin can command such a high price among collectors and numismatists, so strap in as we explore the rich world of coin errors, unique varieties, and the overlooked details that turn copper-plated zinc into a fortune. Because even though the 2015 penny was minted in the billions and can still be found in daily circulation across the United States, there are certain versions of this coin that are incredibly valuable due to a combination of errors during the minting process, misalignments, double dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, planchette errors, transitional errors, and even unique characteristics found under magnification that make these coins highly desirable in the world of coin collecting. And understanding why some 2015 pennies are worth more than others begins with knowing the basic structure of the coin. It's composed of 97.5% zinc and plated with 2.5% copper, weighs 2.5 grams, and features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the Union shield on the reverse, designed to symbolize Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single country. But within the mass production of these coins, rare and unusual variants can arise from minute inconsistencies. And these inconsistencies are not always visible to the naked eye, which is why dedicated collectors often use magnification tools to inspect coins for doubling, weak strikes, die breaks, or other imperfections that may increase a coin's value. And among the most sought-after 2015 penny errors is the double die obverse, commonly referred to as DDO, where the image of Lincoln's face or the inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear slightly doubled. And this doubling occurs during the hubbing process when the die that stamps the design onto the coin planchette receives more than one impression that is slightly misaligned, and although to an untrained eye this may just look like a blur or a shadow, to a numismatist it's a rare and desirable feature that makes a coin instantly more valuable. And similar to the double die obverse is the double die reverse or DDR, where the shield, the 1-cent denomination, or the E pluribus unum motto shows visible doubling especially along the edges or letters. Another type of valuable error that has been reported with the 2015 penny is the off-center strike, where the die does not perfectly align with the planchette, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted significantly to one side, and depending on how much of the design is visible, coins with 50% or more off-center but still showing the date can be worth several times their face value, often exceeding hundreds of dollars depending on condition and rarity. And we also have the die break or die crack errors, which occur when the die used to strike coins begins to wear down or fracture, leading to raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin surface where they shouldn't be, which is commonly referred to as a cud when it occurs near the rim of the coin. And while these errors may not be aesthetically pleasing to some, they are fascinating and valuable to collectors who see them as snapshots of the minting process gone wrong. And another spectacular error to be aware of in the 2015 penny series is the struck-through error, which happens when a foreign object like a piece of cloth, wire, or grease gets between the die and the planchette during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or distorted, and these errors are often one of a kind, making them especially valuable for collectors looking for unique pieces to add to their collection. And speaking of unique, the 2015 penny has been found with transitional errors, such as coins struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or leftover blanks from previous years with different metal compositions. And even though such errors are extremely rare, when they are authenticated they can command massive premiums, as collectors understand the improbability of such events. And then there are the minor but still collectible anomalies like improperly annealed planchets, where the heat treatment meant to prepare the blank for striking is incomplete or inconsistent, resulting in discoloration or splotches that can sometimes mimic more serious errors but nonetheless fetch good prices when certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. And speaking of certification, it's important to note that the value of an error coin like a 2015 penny skyrockets when it's authenticated and graded, because that gives potential buyers confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition, and coins graded as MS, mint state, 65 or higher, especially with verified errors, are far more desirable and valuable than ungraded ones, and to add to this, coins with strong eye appeal. Meaning bright luster, clean surfaces, and sharp strikes, combined with rare errors, often cross the $400 threshold and have even been sold in private sales or auctions for more, depending on demand, competition, and collector interest. And don't forget that location of the mint mark matters too, as 2015 pennies minted in Philadelphia bear no mint mark while those from Denver have a D. And although both mints are capable of producing error coins, certain varieties may only be found from one mint, which adds to their rarity. For example, some double die obverses have only been found on coins from one mint, which can drive collectors to hunt for those specific variants, and even small anomalies like extra thickness in letters, known as machine doubling, while less valuable than true double dies, still attract attention from beginner collectors. And these coins often act as entry points for new hobbyists who become more invested as they learn to distinguish between major and minor errors. And the growing popularity of coin collecting as both a hobby and investment strategy has fueled a renewed interest in error coins like the 2015 penny, especially among younger audiences who are discovering that valuable coins aren't always old or rare in mintage but are sometimes hiding in plain sight among everyday change, and the accessibility of these coins adds to their appeal. Because unlike high-end collectibles that cost thousands to acquire, a 2015 penny could literally be sitting unnoticed in a change jar, a sidewalk, or handed back in change at a grocery store. And it's this treasure hunt appeal that makes collecting modern error coins so exciting, because every coin is a potential jackpot, every small flaw a clue to something extraordinary. And that's what makes the story of the 2015 penny so compelling, because despite being just a decade old, this coin has already made headlines among numismatists and collectors thanks to those rare error examples that have been documented, shared online, and sold at significant premiums. And as technology continues to evolve and more collectors use apps, digital microscopes, and online marketplaces to buy, sell, and authenticate coins, the awareness and market value of 2015 penny errors are only expected to grow. So whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just found a strange-looking penny with a weird texture, missing details, doubled letters, or off-center strike, it's worth taking a closer look, because that odd coin might not just be a mistake, it could be a hidden gem worth hundreds of dollars. And that's the beauty of coin collecting, especially with coins like the 2015 penny, where rarity, curiosity, and history all intersect in something as small and overlooked as a 1-cent piece. And while it's true that most 2015 pennies are worth their face value and will never be worth more than a cent, the small percentage that bear unusual and rare errors become stars of the collecting world, telling stories not only of minting mishaps but of the broader human fascination with detail, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. And with each newly discovered error, each auction sale, and each viral post in the collector community, the legend of the 2015 penny continues to grow, reminding us that sometimes big money hides in small places, and the more you know, the more you look, the more likely you are to be the next person who finds a $431 penny just lying in wait among the ordinary. Last 2016 D1 cent USA coin, the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries, jaw-dropping numismatic treasures, and the thrilling world of valuable pocket change, where today we're diving deep into an extraordinary story surrounding the 2016 D Lincoln penny, a coin that was minted by the billions but has somehow managed to astonish collectors and experts alike with some rare and fascinating errors that have pushed its value all the way up to a stunning $324, despite being originally worth just a single cent. And we're going to take you through every detail, every hidden flaw, every unexpected minting mishap, and the full range of possibilities that turn this ordinary-looking copper-plated zinc coin into an extraordinary windfall for those lucky enough to come across it. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a coin roll hunter, or someone who just enjoys finding buried treasure in everyday places, buckle up, because this 2016 D penny has more secrets and surprises than you might imagine, starting with the mint mark itself, that tiny D just below the date, which stands for the Denver Mint, the place responsible for producing hundreds of millions of these pennies. but not all of them were struck equally, because among the mass production process, a number of rare errors began to emerge that immediately caught the attention of sharp-eyed collectors who noticed off-center strikes, doubling of letters, die cracks, and even unusual planchette issues that added a significant amount of rarity and therefore value to these seemingly common coins, and it's precisely these minting anomalies that created a market for the 2016 D penny worth far beyond its face value, with one particularly well-preserved and dramatic example selling for as much as $324, a staggering return on such a tiny piece of currency. So let's begin with one of the most prominent and desirable types of error found in the 2016 D penny, which is the double die variety, a result of a misalignment during the hubbing process when the coin's die is created, causing the final image on the die to show doubling of certain elements, especially noticeable in the inscription such as Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date itself, and when these doubled features are then struck onto the coin, it becomes a double die error, easily visible under magnification or even to the naked eye in some cases, and highly sought after by collectors who value the clarity and placement of the doubling, with sharper, more pronounced examples commanding higher prices, and the 2016 D double die pennies have drawn significant attention for having unique patterns of doubling that distinguish them from other years, adding to their appeal and rarity. But that's not all, because another key error found in this year's Denver minted Lincoln cents is the off-center strike, which occurs when the blank planchette is not properly seated in the press, leading to a coin that is partially blank and partially struck, and depending on how off-center the strike is, the value can vary greatly, with 5% off-center being interesting but modest in value, while a 40% or more off-center strike with full date and mint mark visible can skyrocket the coin's price, especially when found in excellent condition, and there are indeed recorded sales and documented cases of 2016 D pennies with severe off-center strikes selling in the hundreds of dollars range, especially if they remain uncirculated or in near mint state. And then we have die cracks and die breaks, another variety of mint error that can occur when the die used to strike the coin develops a fissure or break over time, resulting in raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin surface, known as cuds when they appear near the rim, and collectors find these fascinating because they are essentially unique, with no two die cracks being exactly alike, and the 2016 D penny has turned up multiple times with interesting die cracks, especially near Lincoln's head or in the shield on the reverse, creating unique patterns that serve as a fingerprint for that particular coin, and when the cracks are bold, long, or located in a visually striking area, the appeal goes up dramatically, especially for those collecting error types across years and mint marks. And yet another rare but highly valuable error type is the retained interior die break or interior die chip, sometimes seen within the numbers of the date, like the 16. 2016 appearing filled in or malformed, or a chip appearing inside a letter like the D in the mint mark, giving it an odd or distorted shape that can lead to much higher interest and value from error collectors who focus on these fine, specific deviations. And then there are planchette errors, such as clipped planchets, which occur when the metal sheet from which blanks are cut doesn't move correctly between cuts, leading to coins with curved clips or missing corners, and when this happens with full visibility of the date and mint mark, and the coin is in good condition, it becomes a very collectible and valuable specimen. And yes, there are known examples of clip planchette 2016 D pennies that have been appraised and sold at elevated prices, especially when the clips are dramatic or located near recognizable design features. And we must also talk about struck-through errors, where a foreign object, such as a piece of thread, metal shaving, or grease, gets between the die and the planchette during the striking process, resulting in an unusual indentation or missing detail on the finished coin, and this can range from subtle to extreme, but collectors particularly love struck-through coins where the object leaves a clear impression, and even more so when the error is located on Lincoln's face or in the lettering. And yes, 2016 D struck-through errors have surfaced and drawn considerable bidding attention at auctions and online marketplaces, with prices often far above what one might expect from a simple penny. But the most dramatic of all may be multiple error coins, where two or more errors appear on a single specimen, such as a double die with a die crack or an off-center strike combined with a retained cud, and these rare combinations create extremely unique coins that can't be matched or replicated, and because of their singular nature, collectors are often willing to pay a premium just to own something so clearly one of a kind. and if the coin also happens to be in high grade, such as MS65 or higher, graded by reputable third-party services like PCGS or NGC, then it can drive the price up substantially, and that's exactly what happened in at least one case where a 2016 AD Lincoln Cent, featuring a bold double die combined with a severe off-center strike and minimal wear, sold for an impressive $324, becoming one of the most talked about modern penny finds in recent memory, and it's discoveries like this that ignite passion among hobbyists and casual collectors alike, prompting more people to examine their spare change, sort through penny rolls, and dig through old jars in search of similar treasures, because the chances are real, and these valuable errors aren't exclusive to high-volume coin dealers. They can and have been found in circulation by ordinary people just paying close attention, which is part of what makes the story of the 2016 AD penny so compelling and exciting, especially considering the incredibly high mintage of this year, which numbered in the hundreds of millions, meaning that hidden among those billions of cents are a handful of coins worth dozens, hundreds, or even more depending on condition and rarity of error. And it's not just errors that make these coins valuable, but also condition, because even a normal 2016 AD penny with no major errors can fetch a higher price if it's in pristine, uncirculated, or better yet, certified high-grade condition, as top population coins are always in demand by collectors seeking to complete registry sets or hold on to coins with the best possible strike and luster. And when a coin is both rare in terms of error and in top-notch physical condition, that's when you get the perfect storm of numismatic value that propels a penny into the hundreds of dollars territory. And as we've seen, the $324 price tag for a 2016 AD penny is not a fluke or an exaggeration, but a real example of how something seemingly so common can become incredibly valuable when you combine rarity, error type, visual appeal, and collector demand. So keep an eye out, examine your change closely, look for doubling, misalignments, cuts, clips, struck-through patterns, odd textures, and anything that looks just a little bit unusual. And when in doubt, take clear, close-up photos and consult an expert, because the next big discovery might be sitting right in your pocket. And there's never been a better time to start looking than now, because modern coins are gaining popularity in the numismatic community, and the 2016 AD penny stands as a perfect example of how a little knowledge, some patience, and a sharp eye can turn an everyday object into a small fortune. So join the hunt, spread the word, and remember that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprises. And as always, we'll keep you informed, inspired, and ready to explore the world of coin collecting with stories like this one, where an ordinary 2016 AD penny with an extraordinary twist proves that treasures really do lie in plain sight.